like to call to order the regularly scheduled Village Council meeting for the Village of Beverly Hills for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mercer?
Present.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes, here.
Mr. Aboud?
Here.
Mr. Drummond?
Here.
Mr. George?
Here.
Ms. Rajusco?
Here.
Ms. Cascometti?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, with that, would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. With that, are there any amendments to the agenda? Or
We have in background, so we do expect to have 6 new public safety officers working at the village sometime by early next year. The 2 that I am presenting to you today are Miss Amanda McNeil. Amanda has almost 10 years of combined public safety experience spread across 2 public safety departments. She is a trained crisis intervention officer, a trained field training officer, and a trained evidence technician, as well as being cross-trained in both police and fire. Amanda started her field training program yesterday, and I expect it to be abbreviated and quite quick for her. So we are going to have her oath administered to her. The next officer is Officer Jordan Franklin. Jordan had some time in at the Macomb County Sheriff's Department. Jordan's story is somewhat of a comeback story. He was involved in a near-fatal motorcycle accident while off-duty but working for the Sheriff's Department, and was declared medically incapable of performing his job. Jordan took up that challenge and said, "Those words will not be spoken to me." He has now run 5Ks. He is in some of the best shape of his life, and he is now our proudest and newest member of our public safety department. So I bring them to Ms. Brown for the swearing in, and then ultimately the presentation of their badge.
I state your name.
I, Amanda McNeil,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I'll faithfully perform the duties
of the Office of Public Safety Officer
of the Office of Public Safety Officer
in and for the Village of Beverly Hills,
in and for the Village of Beverly Hills,
County of Oakland,
County of Oakland,
and State of Michigan,
and State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
and according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
all right.
Officer McNeil has her father here, who's going to put the badge on her.
All right.
Awesome.
That's great.
Step right up here.
That's great.
Officer Franklin's family could not be here today, so I will pin his badge on him.
All right.
Well, we hope you enjoy it here. I will say on behalf of council, welcome, and we look forward to having some new faces in the group. We've had a few openings. Magically, we're getting those filled. Director Arnold showed up and whipped the recruiting into high gear, and I'm excited to have you. It's a good community. Hopefully, you got people training you. We just had a recent officer on his last day where he was fully on his own, but still had someone with him. Had to dispatch a monster raccoon. So don't let anyone tell you we don't have anything exciting happening here. So we're excited to have you. We appreciate it. It's good to see some new faces. So enjoy your time. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
First left-handed officer that I saw.
Love it. All right.
Yeah, he's gun is on the other side.
All right. Thank you. Are there any community announcements? Yeah, if anyone has anything they need to move on to, you are certainly welcome to do that.
Be free.
Yeah. guys. Don't feel the need to stay. If you want to talk about a chat bot, you can stick around. All right, super. Love to see it. I know we are, sounds like we're on our way to being fully staffed, or as close to fully staffed as we've been since I've been here, so that's exciting. So I appreciate the efforts of administration and public safety to make that happen. Are there any community announcements this evening, either in chamber or online? Hearing none, we'll move on to public comments. Anyone in chamber or online who would like to make a public comment, please do so. Yes, sir, please give us your name and your street.
David Tabobin, Orchard Way Court. I want to read a few words from a police report that was filed here in the village on November 17. It says, Rachel Herdusco arrived at the public service building on behalf of her husband Damon. Report that a suspicious person had been taking photos of her residents and yelling things at them. She stated they have not entered onto her property, but they are making efforts to photograph her house from all angles. Damon stated that the person taking the pictures was Barbara Tabobin, my wife. We found out about this on November 25, when Barbara received a phone call from Public Safety accusing her of the charges that were leveled by the Herduscos. Barbara denied the allegations, which she found quite upsetting, but we knew they were false, and the Herduscos were wrong, and Barbara was being falsely accused. When the Public Safety now knows that is true as well, because later that same day, the woman who was the woman on the sidewalk, not Barbara, came to Public Safety with their own complaint against Damon, saying she was confronted by him and verbally accused, and she provided a list to Public Safety of the remarks that were made by Damon. Then later on that day, we received another phone call from Public Safety that said, I spoke with Barbara, advised her that she was accidentally accused of her involvement. So we know the woman on the sidewalk was not Barbara. That essentially invalidates the entire complaint, I think. But why would Damon say that she was that woman on the sidewalk? He called her out by name. Barbara's never spoken in council meetings. She's never spoken to Damon. To our best of our knowledge, they've never met. So how is it that he came to accuse her, single her out, and falsely name her as the person that was on the sidewalk in front of her house? Rachel, however, does know Barbara. They have met, they have spoken. She knows Barbara from our involvement with the volunteer work in Beverly Park. And she is the one who actually filed the report, not Damon. So if you read through the attachments that are in the report, I believe everyone here has a copy. If someone doesn't have a copy, let me know, and I'd be happy to furnish you one. But I believe if you read the attachments in the report, you'll find that there are significant indications that it was really Damon who was the aggressor in this situation, not the victim. He was the one who was likely yelling. If you read through his comments attached to the police report, he's the one that dropped the F-bomb on the sidewalk. And he states that I loudly proclaimed her a weirdo. And you can read the rest of the comments in the report. That only enhances, I think, the credibility of the statement from the woman who actually was on the report. Public Safety concluded that Damon's comments to the woman did not require a criminal investigation. But what about village code violations? And I would here point to section 26 as it relates to disorderly conduct and vulgar language. The entire report is riddled with inaccuracies in its statements. To just let it go without being publicly refuted, to me, is totally unacceptable. What do we want to happen? Well, someone to come forward and sort out this mess, because that's what it is. And get the truth, all of it, not just part of it. We think a full apology is warranted. Public exoneration stated on the record here in this facility by the person who made the complaint, which is Rachel Verduzco, a member of this council. But before that can happen, a couple of things need to happen. One, someone needs to investigate and determine the real reason the Verduzcos chose to accuse Barbara. Someone needs to investigate if there were, in fact, violations of the village code committed on a public sidewalk here in the village. Someone needs to investigate why Damon thought it was okay to berate someone on a public sidewalk for taking photos. This council is a self-regulating body. It's up to you what action is going to be taken against a member for falsely and formally accusing a resident of wrongdoing, when in fact there was none. One other thing I would like to point out is that we went to public safety with our own complaint. We were told that our comments would be attached to the original police report but not pursued because there was no proof. But the original Verduzco comment was accepted and it was pursued and it had no proof. And in fact, it has now been refuted as being completely false. So I don't know what action is going to be taken, if any. A member for falsely and formally accusing a resident of wrongdoing. I would ask is if we're going to condone this kind of behavior, if this is the kind of conduct that we are going to allow in the village. That's up to you, but I do request that you would apprise me of any progress that's made on these investigations, because I feel that, at minimum, that is owed to us.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Gilbert, 15984 Amherst. Mr. George, you once told me that Councilwoman Verduzco is your friend, and as such, you were solicitous of her. You did not want anyone in the community to inappropriately target her just because she may have an opinion contrary to others, and I agree. You should be able to have adult, multi-view debates in the form of public opinion without falsely targeting your opponent. That is why I find the fact that Councilwoman Verduzco initiated a false police report on behalf of her husband targeting Mrs. Tababin to be so egregious. It is clear that most of you sitting at that table do not know who the Tababins are, so as their friend, let me place on the community record what kind of people they are. First and foremost, Mr. and Mrs. Tababin are an old-fashioned lady and gentleman, and I mean old-fashioned in the nicest sense of the term: manners, decorum, and grace. They would never tell anyone that they are, quote, ugly, stupid, or to get the F off their property, end quote. This is exactly what Mr. Verduzco said to the woman he thought was Barbara Tababin standing on a public sidewalk taking a picture. And when it comes to civic matters, Mrs. Tababin has let her husband voice her view at this podium without ever him raising his voice or uttering one curse word. Both particularly loathe social media, which explains why they just might be the only members of this community who do not participate in the finger mob, regardless of the platform. Second, the Tababins are good neighbors who have lived and loved this community for 28 years. I think longer than most of you sitting at that table. In particular, they are concerned for the welfare of Beverly Park. You might not be aware of their contributions because they do not sit at that table, patting themselves on the back or bragging on social media about their efforts. Instead, they take action. For example, David helped Mrs. Verduzco hang Christmas lights at the pavilion a few years back. Mrs. Tababin, with David's assistance, single-handedly brought the large, long-neglected perennial bed at the front of Beverly Park back to life. They cleared the weeds, re-edged, thinned overgrown perennials, and augmented the bed with new perennials from their own lovely gardens, and they are lovely. They're like a Garden of Eden, as I would imagine it. And they didn't abandon their new project. Throughout the summer, you will find them continuing to tend the garden so that it does not return to its former neglect. After the 2024 storm that brought down and damaged so many trees in Beverly Park Woods, Mr. Tababin gathered a crew of his friends every Thursday morning to clear the broken branches from the forest, get it out to the outside so it can be picked up. It was not a small task. No matter how swampy the ground or how hot the weather that summer, David was there every single Thursday. For those of us helping, We wished he would take a break, but he never did. He never stopped. These are just 3 examples, but the list is long and too long for my allowed 4 minutes. Finally, the Tababans are humble people. They do not crow about their efforts to clean up the park or to spend hours trying to understand the intricacies of water rates or grant funding or any number of issues that we are told as citizens we should be engaged in. That is, of course, unless you ask too many questions. You know, at the end of the false report, which I believe you have copies of, Mr. Hajdusko told Detective Brewster, quote, he would attempt to reach out to Barbara and apologize, end quote. He has not, nor would I expect him to. At a minimum, however, you as a council should condemn the shenanigans on the part of one of your own and sincerely apologize to Mr. and Mrs. Tababan.
Thank you. Anyone else? Excuse me.
Pam Rishnovian, 32420 Evergreen. I'm the one that was screamed at and berated on the sidewalk. I came home and was very upset. My husband tried to call me. It was unbelievable, just unbelievable. A beautiful day, and I'm minding my own business. I was taking pictures because I'm going to challenge my ever-rising taxes. The houses at the end of my street are very interesting. And when you do taxes, they assess the whole area. So when you have property around you that is questionable, this goes into your assessment. I explained to him what I was doing. He verbally attacked me and never stopped. He blocked the sidewalk. It was terrible. I wasn't going to report it to the police because I knew they wouldn't do anything. But when I thought about it, I did. And the police, the detective's comments to me were, well, we have freedom of speech here. So there you go.
Thank you. Anyone else? Online or in chamber?
Mark Melody, Kinross Avenue. Don't have prepared comments just because it was, again, tonight I'm out walking my dog, and earlier this summer there was a lot of backslapping and happiness about this Safe Routes to School grant and getting all this concrete poured and making it easy for people to finally be able to walk from A to B, except what are you doing about the people that can't clear their walks? I walk my dog, I feel like I'm about ready to break my ankle, and I'm not gonna go out in Beverly Road to try and walk because it's a rather busy road. And just in the stretch of Beverly, west of Pierce, of the 7 houses, 4 of them have heavily iced sidewalks. But the irritating point about the people that are the residents is that their driveways are pristine. They can clear 500 feet of driveway. They can't clear, even a small path of 60 to 70 square feet of sidewalk? So I ask, what are you doing about it? Are you fining them? Are you putting assessments down? Are you going out and hiring the football team to go clean these things? I don't know. But it's annoying that I go on roughly an 80-20 rule, and I'll bet there's up to 20% of the sidewalks are not cleaned. Now, I'll give it a caveat that there are a few people that cannot clear their own sidewalk. And maybe there should be some sort of a grant or way to help them get those sidewalks cleared. But if you have your driveway is pristine, your sidewalk should be pristine. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, move on from public comments to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda this evening, there are 4 items. Number 1, approve December December 2nd, 2025, council minutes. Number 2, review and file bills recapped as of December 15th, 2025. Number 3, adopt 2026 building department fee schedule. And number 4, approve fire bay vehicle exhaust system upgrade.
Mr. George, at this time, be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Beverly Hills approve the consent agenda as read.
Support.
Support from Mrs. Kescometti. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Ms. Rojusco?
Yes.
Ms. Kescometti?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you. On to the business agenda. We have 4 items on the business agenda this evening. Approve the purchase of new signage for the Public Safety Building. Mr. Rothy.
Yes, as I move the lovely repair people, repaired our audio system, but we got to figure out how to plug the mics back in the right order, so I'm sharing the mic with the podium today. First up on our agenda, again, is purchase of new signage for Public Safety Building. I'll have Director Arnold come up should you have further questions about it, but it is a budgeted item. We're working with a Beverly Hills resident who owns a local sign company who provided the design concepts. We are mostly within budget. The total cost is $36,787. We're over budget by about that $6,700. However, we have way more than enough funds available in the public safety capital accounts. For example, the carport project came in $52,000 under budget alone. And I know the guns came in around 20 grand. So that's 72 grand right there. I figured, if you'll let me to the $6,000 upgrade to the signage, that should be fine. Again, before Director Arnold comes up for any questions, last thing I'll say is we did design this to comply with the village ordinance, both the monument sign and to be fully transparent, we may need to shrink by 2 square feet the lettering on the side of the building, but we'll double check that once the design is finished. But I would seek a motion to approve. And again, Director Arnold's here to talk more about his approach and why we think this is a good idea.
All right.
Good evening again. When I was first hired on to the Public Safety Department as the role of Director of Public Safety, I had a really hard time finding the Public Safety Department because the signage was not inadequate, but maybe just a little bit small. I also think it's been weathered, and some weed whipping cord has caused it to thin down near its brackets, and I'm not surprised if it won't blow over sometime this winter. So Mr. Rothy tasked me with looking for the best sign that a public safety department might have in our area of Oakland County. So I went on a mission, and I drove the various public safety departments that we have mutually business with, and I believe we designed the sign that will be envious to the other public safety departments. On top of that, it is Mary Ann Dieters, who is she is the owner of Metro Signs and a Beverly Hills resident, so I think it's nice that we are giving back to our community residents with business, and she has done business with the Public Safety Department and the village in the past, and I have only heard glowing recommendations from her. So with that being said, I believe that the current sign is not sufficient and probably will not last much longer, and I'm asking for funding to replace the current sign with the new updated, more modern version that we have.
All right. And so you said there's the potential to just have to shrink the wall sign by a bit. We just want to,
2 square feet in total at most.
so.
Technically, we're exempt from our own ordinance requirements, but we do want to be good stewards of it. So it was designed with that in mind.
Okay. Questions from council?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please, go ahead, Rick.
All right. So it's backlit, right? Okay, so the only thing I'd like to see, and I see the logo of the police department, I'd really like to see our logo maybe somewhere underneath it as a something or another, just to, and we sit on a sign ordinance. I know we're behind a couple of years, but it's neither here or there. It's something that I thought maybe could be incorporated in yours.
I can ask Ms. Dieters if
Just a
she could do
shield,
a rendition
the
of it.
Beverly Hills shield.
Yeah, I can
That's
ask
all.
Ms. Dieters if they can put a rendition of that as well.
That's all I have, thanks.
All right. Other questions?
Otherwise, beautiful.
Thank you.
The ordinance on the signage ordinance kind of tries to push people to like externally illuminated shining back on the sign instead of internally illuminated. Was that
looked at.
I would have to look at the designs, Ms. Roth.
This one's, it's internally illuminated is what it looks like.
I think we could certainly
Right.
light it externally like the one.
Like the one out here, yeah, the one out here, the one at Beverly Hills Grill. Those are like two pretty good examples that we usually give people for the signage ordinance that does change the sign dramatically.
Okay, I will again make a stipulation of that with Ms. Dieters tomorrow.
I mean, the specifications on,
It allows backlit, but there's a certain percentage of lighting. You have to do all the math.
I mean, I'm just looking at I guess the aluminum plaque is the part that says it's not illuminated. I don't, yeah, double-sided illuminated. In what way has this gone to planning? Does it need to go to planning or not?
Does not need to go to planning. We actually don't have any authority. They're specifically exempted under our ordinance. But again, I did have Director Steck conduct the review, and she did determine that, again, the monument sign was compliant with the ordinance. And again, there was just the extra 2 square feet in the line lettering on the side of the building that we may need to shrink. Maybe we change the font on it, though. It might take care of itself, though, too. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking for an understanding of the comment that it pushes people towards external illumination rather than internal. So, and I can, find. Mr. Drummond, I don't know if you got any comment on that. When you say pushes people towards, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's just the way the signage ordinance is written, it doesn't prohibit the internally illuminated, but it does restrict the percentage of the sign that can be illuminated.
Mm-hmm.
We normally have all the math worked out on when it comes through on planning. So again, I would just ask my preference from where I sit would be that we have a sign that conforms with our ordinance. I think it sends the wrong message if we have one that doesn't conform to the ordinance in front of our buildings, right?
Agreed.
So if Ms. Steck has looked at it and it's good, I'll trust she did all the calculations to make sure it's right.
Yeah, so I mean, we want, that's it. If there's a percentage calculation that needs to be done on the, how much of it can be illuminated, which, as long as we.
If we need to, once again, the final design's made, but again, as currently drafted, this does comply.
Second question, does this fall under the category of professional, did we shop this, I guess is the question, because I want to make sure that if it needs to be bid, we're bidding it. I'm all for supporting the local businesses. I just want to make sure we're compliant with our own purchasing guidelines.
Yeah, so we consider this a public improvement project. Public improvement projects are specifically exempt from bidding, and because we had a local resident we've worked with in the past,
Yeah.
I thought it would be appropriate to at least bring it to council for their consideration.
All right. The one other thing that it looks like it got pushed up on the wall, and it is in the picture in a shadow, the rendering of the new sign is in the shadow, so if we can just look at that when we're.
Like this dark one?
Nope, the one on the wall. So.
Oh, yeah, we'll make sure.
As long as it's, I don't want to hide half of the new sign.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Other questions?
Nope, you asked mine.
I'm sorry?
You asked my question. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Couple questions. I would have preferred it probably to have been bid out, but I understand it. I think it's in the guidelines. I don't think we're getting it cheaper, probably based on knowledge of what signs cost. So that being said, probably okay. I think this is long overdue. When they removed the bushes, then you probably don't remember this, when you couldn't see the entrance. That was a big improvement, because at least you knew that there was an entrance, and people, I think, should know where the entrance is, especially getting to it easily. And this will improve it also. This is long overdue, so I appreciate that.
Anything else? Other questions? All right, I didn't sign this one out, so hopefully someone has.
Actually, I had one last question, I'm
there you
sorry.
go.
Is there going to be landscaping around the ground sign?
we can consider that going forward, but as part of this specific request, we're just seeking to purchase the sign, but
That is one of our ordinance requirements, that we have landscaping around ground signs.
okay. We can
200 square feet.
We can certainly incorporate landscaping. It won't be over 5,000, so we'll take care of it, though.
All right. Anyone want to make a resolution? Mr. Abud, got it?
Be it resolved, the Beverly Hills Village Council adopt the, wait,
Approve.
is that the right one?
It's at the bottom of the first page, the staff report, which is page 30 in the packet. There you go.
All right, sorry about that.
No.
Be it resolved, Beverly Hills Village Council approve the proposal from Hastings Air Energy Control.
No, that's
Nope,
not
wrong one. I gave you the wrong one.
Page 35.
Page 30.
Here,
Hang on.
go ahead, Mr. Mercer.
Be resolved, the Beverly Hills Village Council hereby accepts the proposal for Metro signs and lighting in the amount of $36,787. Funds are available in account number 205-900-980.05.
Support.
Support from Mrs. Cascometti. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Abud?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Ms. Rojusco?
Yes.
Ms. Cascometti?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you. On to number 2. Thank you, Director Arnold. Looking forward to seeing that. On to number 2 on the business agenda, approve polymorphic software proposal. Mr. Rothy.
Yes. Before you this evening is kind of a two distinct items, one software provider request. The company is Polymorphic, and what I'm specifically seeking council approve is to basically accept a quote that they've prepared for 2 services, a AI chatbot, and then a customer relationship management or CRM software. Kind of just diving into this a little bit more, the AI chatbot is something that's going to live on our website. I like Polymorphic, and I did look at our current website provider who's starting to dabble in the chatbot space. Polymorphic, I believe, had the better product for us, and it also, if we just decided to change our website vendor going forward, it integrates with all the major website vendors, so some future proofing there and avoiding vendor lock. But the chatbot essentially is a way for our residents to ask questions to the village. It's not something that goes and searches Google for the answers. It specifically is trained on our website. As we update our website, it rereads the website daily. I believe, I don't know if anybody played around with it, but Birmingham actually just launched this tool last week. I sent council the link and some suggested questions. Again, I don't know if anybody had the chance to ask, but if you did, I hope you kind of got the sense of how the system works. So again, instead of a resident trying to figure out, well, how do I pay my water bill? I got to click here, click here, click here. I'm just going to pick up the phone and call. They can ask the chatbot. It will tell them the various ways they can pay their water bill. And then it also then always cites its sources, so that if they want to learn more, it'll pull up the, hey, here's where I got my information. You might want to click here and go right to that part on the link. And what I like about Polymorphic too, which had them stand apart from the, again, our website vendor who had a chatbot solution, is we actually can integrate with our GIS mapping software that we already have through HRC. So what that means is any data that we have that's dependent upon a resident's address. So for example, what's the zoning of my property? What's the trash collection date? What days are my utility bills paid? They can because it integrates with that, they can actually, if you ask that question, it'll say, well, where do you live? And then it'll tell you exactly, this is when your trash is picked up, or this is when your water bill is due. You could even, again, we can load the zoning ordinance data in there too. So it's like any property zoned X, can I build a shed on this? Yes or no? So it's really cool on how we can have that type of integration. As far as what the village can expect from it, we are able to review all the chats. It runs analytical reports, so we can actually see what our residents are asking, how they're using it. And so if everybody's asking the same 2 questions, it's clear we have a communication issue there probably, and we can kind of help fine tune. So again, this gives kind of real time communications, data capture. It does work in 75 languages, so if there is a language barrier, our residents, 75 languages should cover a vast majority of what people may speak within the village. And again, it's available 24/7, so it's a 24/7 way of allowing people to communicate and get information. And this is ultimately a 2-year contract, no price increase from year 1 to year 2. The chat component is $6,000 annually. So that's the chat component. Now moving on to the CRM system, what that essentially is software that will let the village design and build forms. So this is all those little things that we have paperwork for, so garage sale permits, requesting a final water bill read, FOIA requests even, and just kind of any general service request. This is a centralized place. Again, it's a separate vendor. It's not partnered with our website, which has rudimentary form building capabilities, but again, it would allow for residents to, again, submit those requests. It kind of operates on a Domino's pizza tracker model of requests submitted, where did it go, how long is it expected, to be resolved. So you do have to register an email to, sign up for your initial form, but once you sign up once, you'll be able to access any of the forms that we have. We'll be able to handle online payment collection. So for example, if we have again, that garage sale permit, I think we charge a fee for that, if I'm not mistaken. That was something that, they could pay and, right there instead of having to come in the village, something like that. Again, that's not something we currently offer online. Another this wasn't the main reason for kind of looking into this, but it does have in the future a scheduling feature that will actually allow us offer time-sensitive scheduling, like pavilion rentals. We would be able to move the pavilion rental process online. Maybe, again, if somebody wants to come in and take care of things, the old-fashioned way, pen and paper, we, of course, will still accommodate that. And on this specific thing, I don't think that will be ready to roll out February 1 anyway. And I know a lot of people I've heard they line up out like it's Black Friday here. I haven't experienced myself, but, and so we'll still do that. So everybody who's used to coming in will still be able to do that. But again, going forward, it's just a way to better offer, enhanced services for our residents. And again, because this is a separate vendor, it's not integrated with any of our websites, it's safe if we want to move websites. Again, all the major website providers, Revise, Civic Plus, and a few other, Municode, a few other website providers, again, that works with all of those systems. And that part of the ask is $10,000 annually. Again, 2-year contract, no price increase from year 1 to year 2. That's $10,000. So again, I'm seeking a resolution to approve accepting the proposal. Again, this is specialized software. We did look at other vendors. Again, I think this one makes a lot of sense with the GIS integration. And again, just the simplicity of being able to, I don't have to call a vendor and say, can you build me this form? It's a lot of, dragging and dropping forms together. So, the ways we're going to use this are obviously everything I just said. But, the opportunity to further develop and refine what we can use with it is, I'm pretty optimistic about. So happy to answer any questions you may have. How we're going to pay for this is, basically this hits every single department, so we're just going to expense it essentially to all different departments in the village. So that's why I didn't put I didn't want to write all the account numbers. I just said we're going to use the professional service accounts in the various funds and departments should you advance the resolution this evening.
All right, questions for? Yes, sir.
On the CRM functionality, are we going to do our building permit process onto that, or does that stay?
We could. So BSNA is our permit vendor, and a lot of contractors in Michigan are really used to BSNA. We obviously have an old their .NET software. It's about 17 years old. As we explore, be phasing all that up, because again, that's not just building permits, but it's our utility billing, it's the payroll software, so it's how we all get paid. I think that'll definitely be a part of the conversation. What I like about this is you can program it, so, a lot of building code things there's a schedule of fees. Actually got Jake here. Oh, Jake's gone. Never mind, Jake's not here anymore, but we can actually, it can calculate fees automatically as residents are selecting things. So going forward, is it something we could use? Yes. Is the intention that you start using it for building permits right away? No, not from day one.
Yeah, I just know residents now, once they file their building permit, they call to find out where it is. And, and they call back several days later and several days after.
Yeah, we do offer online permits now through BSNA in some capacity. not an expert in what capacity that is, but again, the goal is to improve the communication and the follow-up like what you just described.
Yes, Ms. Gascomini.
Thank you, Mr. George. I really like the online forms. I am trying to get more comfortable with the chatbot. I've been over here trying to break Birmingham's, and I've been doing a pretty good job. I'm wondering, Warren, if you've given thought to what does the training period look like right before we release it publicly? There is there's the process of it reads the website, right? But there is also the reliability question, right? Like, what if it finds and provides residents with the wrong answer?
Sure.
And from what I understand, when organizations, and maybe some of my colleagues know this better than I do, my organization is in very early days of doing something similar. And we're doing a lot of internal training, right, where our staff are trying to use it, our staff are trying to break it before we release it on the public so that it doesn't tell the public the wrong answer, right? And then they think, oh yeah, I can cut that tree down in my easement. Apparently you can have as many dogs as you want in Birmingham because it doesn't know the answer.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking there in terms of how this thing gets trained?
So definitely, we're going to try and break it every way we can before we ever launch it publicly. This won't be technically it'll be up and running like tomorrow. We're not actually going to roll it out tomorrow or anything. I think another benefit of this is as we're preparing it, training it, and then even once it's launched, it's going to teach us really quickly where the weaknesses are on our website too, which is, again, kind of it's a double-edged sword, but I think it's good that we're doing this because it'll help us find and identify those areas on our website that, again, are either very old or out of date, and we want to obviously try and trim the fat, so to speak, of that before we launch. But again, I think this will, because we're actually going to be seeing what people are clicking on, what they're trying to know. This is in many ways a tool to help teach us by, using the conversations that it has. Again, it's obviously not going to be perfect. It is a newer software, but again, I think it's a movement in the right direction. But as far as, will we just roll it out? No, we're going to do a lot of training and making sure the GIS integration is working correctly before we would roll this out. So I don't think we would roll this out again until probably end of Q1 of next calendar year.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, and again, that's a little ambitious, but it's, at least another 90 days out from today.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Mr. O'Gorman.
As far as personal information, I'm sure this won't have access to any of our information that's personal or what have you.
Nope, it's again, it only knows what you give it, so we'll give it our website. We'll give it the GIS integration. So if there is public data components, it will be public, addresses are public data, you can't hide your address, but it doesn't search the internet, it doesn't go and again find Google or try and, hallucinate in that way, trying to find other sources. And then again, I want to kind of build out a bunch of FAQ sections of the website, and as we do that, we can just have kind of like a standalone document of, hey, here's the tips and tricks that might not be ready, a website page or web page might not be the best medium for them, but we can feed, like an 8-page script, for example, into the storage bin, to call it, of this model, and it'll then be able to, it's not just pulling from the website, it's pulling on, documents that the village can generate, how-to guides, we can make an Excel sheet of, here's everybody who works at the village, here's everything they do, to help kind of direct people based on function area of here's who you actually call when you have this need. So again, it's all depending on what we put in, but it doesn't have it doesn't know anything other than what we give it.
So is there a date limitation? So for example, a lot of AI that will crawl through your existing assets can be limited so that you don't look past a certain date from a date record associated with the file? Are we going to limit how far back it goes? Because I don't know what the longevity of information on our website is, but theoretically you could have conflicting information across time. And if it stops and references the wrong piece of information and solves the problem, I don't know how this particular AI works, but I just want to make sure we have some sort of relevance, like the last 24 months or something like that is what it would look to, as well as any ordinance that we have that's published, things like that. And then one other question is, if I want to search a resident's name, am I going to get all documents identified with that resident's name in it?
So for the second, no, like we won't be giving documents with residents' names to the system, so it won't.
Well, they'll be in meeting minutes, they'll be in all kinds of established records that we have that are public information. I'm just wondering, are we allowing somebody to go in and target information associated with an individual at that point?
No, and again, those documents that you're right, the meeting minutes, they're not actually on our website, but it's a standalone document. It's not like we've typed in their names into like the text field of the website itself. So again, it doesn't have access to those like PDFs on our website necessarily. It's really just reading the.
Okay, so it's just HTML content, it's not actual like PDFs that are presented and available through searches on the web?
I don't believe so.
Through, okay.
But right now, I can go enter any name into our website. There's a search engine within our website, and it pulls it.
That will,
It was just an example. I'm just trying to figure out how the AI works, because there's different ways that AI will work. It'll either create its own kind of reservoir of information and reference it. And then the next thing was, if you do a search, does it also, some AI will pitch you the actual sources of the information, so you avoid hallucination? So even if there is a hallucination, you can go down and click on the link that it would provide you, forcing it to provide.
yes, it always provides the sources, which again, I appreciate, because then if somebody does have Warren, we just got this great thing, what the heck, I just broke it. Well, I can say, all right, well, I can actually go back and find that conversation, so I can see what they asked, I can see what the sources were. And again, if you're an end user, you'll be able to see where it got its information from every single time as well.
And then based on the quote, can I request that we consider a 60-day trial for termination, not 30 days? Because assuming these dates are what we're thinking about, January would be the first month that would be applicable for that 30 days. I would assume that's all probably internal, where you guys are going to be evaluating it, offering it up to individuals to test it and, make sure it works. But if we have it in February, that's tax season, I'd love to see how it fares in the public during that period to get all those questions, because we should see, I'm assuming if we looked at ebbs and flows of query, that's probably a higher month. So I'd like to see a 60-day termination. Obviously, I'm assuming that's just a prorated fee. I didn't read in here what it says we have the option to terminate service. Is that without fee or with fee, prorated to the duration of 30 days? I don't know, but I'd like to see that change to at least a couple months. And then there's something down here for term and termination, but I think that's more just how long do you have to let them know ahead of time or something. But anyway, if we could get like a trial for 2 months, and if that were to overlap over the tax February season, that would be great in my opinion.
So you're essentially requesting that, I'm just kind of wordsmithing a resolution here. Council approves, the proposal as presented with the modification that the vendor provide a 60-day termination notice period versus the 30 as presented. Would that satisfy what you just?
For what I'm looking for, yeah.
Okay.
Just getting a it's free or paid trial, whatever, but we can call it 60 days, not owe the 16,000. It'll be prorated to whatever 2 months out of 12 is. But if that's their approach, I don't care either way. But, I don't want to be bound to them for a year if we go past 30 days, right? We either pay or we don't do the service.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks. That's all I had.
Mr. Aboud?
Thank you, Mr. George. So the polymetric system itself, it's really basically, right, when it's a software, it's an algorithm that's controlled by whatever information that you're going to be putting into the software to get that information back. So technically, it's as reliable as whatever information is on that site or the application or whatever's out there in the, in the world, how much information, like as far as the demo, did you personally see the demo yourself?
Yes.
And then I was just curious, like, did you see, I know you said we're comparing to Birmingham, the chatbot. The CRM is really where my head's at. Chatbot, you can do that off of Google Internet and, but it won't be specific to the village. But as far as the information itself, what people are getting, I just didn't know how that CRM, how that algorithm is actually written. Is it in everybody's software? Is it on everybody's PC? Or is it one person dedicated to this polymetric system? How are you guys looking to roll it out internally?
Sure, so obviously with the CRM piece, probably a few key staff people will be trained on how to develop the forms, build them, and then depending on what the form is for, if it's a clerk function, obviously the clerk's going to be able to have access to those and get the notifications for those. If it's a finer water bill read request, those obviously would go to the water billing specialist here. So that's kind of how that part would roll out. As far as the chat goes, again, once it's up and running, it'll only be available like to the public, like on our website. Like, so they'll have to go to our website and they'll click in the corner, it'll pop up. As far as, how frequently we'll be looking at the queries and stuff, I would imagine in the beginning, probably would be daily. And then try and transition to like a weekly check-in. Again, I think a lot of the bugs we'll be able, if there are many, will be quickly stuff we can identify. And again, we're going to, like I said, we'll probably spend a month on this just before we launch it to the public anyway, at a minimum, just making sure. Because I could give you 30 pages on our website right now. I would just delete or change like in a heartbeat. So that's kind of what's driving, but also pairs nicely with this.
Mr. Gorman.
Two more questions. One, do you know if their service offers a instant satisfaction metric? So a lot of times chatbots, the minute you finish the chat, it'll say satisfied, dissatisfied, very dissatisfied, anything like that. If they do offer that as an option, it's not always constantly on, but I know some chatbots will offer like how well did I solve your problem?
How do we do?
Yeah. I would love that for the trial period. We can turn it off later if necessary, but that would be great. If it's available, I don't know that every chat.
I'll inquire about it.
Okay, because I've worked with chatbots a few times. And then the second one is with the email registration, is that reside in our systems as far as registration, and their system will check ours for communications and that information, so it's behind our firewall, within our reserves as far as, because it's kind of PII, right? You've got somebody, or is it going back to polymorphic? Do they retain the list of email addresses that are provided during registration?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'd be curious if they get to keep those and what types of commercial agreement we have and terms and conditions around the retention of those, usage of those, they're restricted from using them, selling them, and how they are protected from a cybersecurity perspective so nobody can start phishing our residents for anything if those got exposed or released or anything like that. So that would just be another curiosity, because I know we have information on our residents, and that's behind our firewall, so we're liable for that. I want to make sure that we're not extending an opportunity for somebody else to hold resident information. And if they are, what security measures do they have in place? I'm assuming Polymorphic has the latest security measures in place, but we should be verifying that if they're going to be storing those, and then what the liability is. If they were hacked, are they responsible for making sure that the residents have the right protections should that happen? Because it may sound silly, but if you have somebody's email address, and I would recommend everybody have a primary email address, but if you have an email address, it's really easy then many times, depending on how people use those, to get into bank accounts, credit cards, things like that, if they use the same address across all those types of activities, which they shouldn't. But if they did, it's not hard for software to automatically just start using those email addresses to try to access other information pretty quickly.
Sure, I would gladly look into that.
Okay, appreciate it.
Again, and I don't think it's very different though to pay your water bill online right now. You do need we're providing email addresses and stuff, so it's nothing that.
But that's still behind our firewall, right?
Well, BSNA's not, that's a separate, like their online thing is a separate piece. We still have BSNA software in-house, but that's like a separate.
Okay, there's a liability to holding an email address, personal contact information, what have you. I just want to make sure whatever resources they're using, they're appropriate. And then if they are appropriate, if there were to be if somebody were to get access to that, that they have the right insurance or whatever to make sure that those people are covered for their personal protection. So that's all. Thanks.
I would bet that if we reviewed the actual contract, we'd find that there's a.
I'm assuming it's in there. I just double checking.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. Mercer.
Thank you. A couple of questions. Is this the total, this isn't the total contract, right? This isn't this is the entire terms?
This is a quote, essentially. It's not the full.
Not the full Ts and Cs?
Correct.
Okay. So Couple things. I see that it's a term policy. It runs per year, but you say we have the option for a second year. I didn't see that in here, but that's somewhere detailed. Maybe I missed it when I was reading through it, that there's a second year for the fees to stay the same if we like it and we
Yes.
want to go on with the second year. Okay, and that's locked in then?
Yes, that is.
Okay. And is this software residing on our system, or is this provided as like a software as a service? I mean,
Software as a service is a good way to look at it.
software as a service, so it's not, we're not loading software on we're loading, I guess I'm trying to figure out how we're feeding the information and where this is residing.
It's, you know, how like when you log into your Gmail, you're in
Yeah.
Google's ecosystem. We would have a login for their platform, like as employees.
Okay, and then we would feed that information, and then we would use that on top of our systems to, yeah, it'd be good to know exactly where, I'm guessing in the full terms and conditions that they would outline what information they would keep. They shouldn't really be keeping any of the information, to the point of Mr. O'Gorman, of emails and stuff that it should be contained within our area. I'm sure it is, because the chatbot itself is being limited to only materials that we're providing it, which is a good guardrail. That's a very good guardrail to have. It helps the chatbot, the AI not go off the rails, basically, get outside and just go crazy, kind of. That's what happens, and that's what a lot of people hear, but we do this, I've been developing chatbots for well over a year, and as long as you contain that, you're pretty safe. Also, that you're displaying the sources helps a lot if you get conflicting information, because it should tell you that conflicting information. It should still tell you it, and you would then know the source and how far back, and we could correct that. So I think this is something good to have and start using, but we definitely want to look at the full T's and C's to make sure we're protecting our residents and ourselves.
Yep. So again, my comment to that would be, as part of a resolution that's offered, it would have essentially two stipulations. It would have the language that Councilmember O'Gorman discussed earlier, and then it would also, which I think is, I really just forgot to put it in, but typically we always have our contract subject to final review and approval by the village attorney. I think that gives Ms. Kolb the ability to take the concerns that she's had and give it the legal review, which, I can't say, yeah, this is legally sound. That's not my skill set. That's not your skill set. That's hers. So that's my recommendation on how to proceed on that end.
Mr. Abud.
Just to follow up, will the residents or anyone in the public wants to access the system have to opt in and create an account, or is it just a person logging in with their email and you're good to go? Because you got to reply to them somehow or another, right?
For the forms, it's like an email account thing. For the chat, there's anybody who has our website can.
Only if you're getting something else like a form, then, okay.
And it's kind of like they have to verify. It's like when you put your email in, and you're going to have to verify it. So, we can make sure it's a legitimate email address. And then, whatever the form is, if there's a payment, the payment information, that's all, separate and everything, and secure. So it's.
I think like everybody up here, technology is great, but we definitely need to be very, very, very careful on, the liability that the village would have because of someone's information that somehow didn't, turn out the right way.
Yep.
Yes, Ms. Cascamedi.
Mr. George, I don't know if anyone's dying to contribute, but I just wonder if we should take some public comment.
Sure. If anyone in chamber or online would like to comment, now's your chance.
Okay, maybe.
All right.
Anyone wanted to share their ideas with the robots taking over our jobs, I thought now was the time for that conversation.
Okay. Other council questions or comments? I will, Mr. Othie and I talked about, we moved this we knew there'd be discussion on this, so we figured rather than consent, let's put this on, get some questions answered. I went on Birmingham's website, I tried it, it answered some questions, it gave me a lot of I don't knows, and I think a lot of that is training, and if the answer is that this helps us to gather a list of questions that we can't get answered or that are frequently asked questions where we need to, buffer the website, I think that's good. Learned recently, go ahead.
And yeah, just when I was getting the quote originally, I knew Birmingham was in the process. They just went live, I think, last Thursday or Friday, so theirs is brand new, so you're seeing like the first week, so.
Right.
Just I'd love to please share the questions that you've all been, as I've been talking, if you have, whether you've been paying attention or not, please send the questions that you've been putting in there for me, so, for research. Or rip off and duplication, as I call it.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, you said that we will get an understanding of the questions that are being asked.
Yes.
Which I see, and to me,
Yep.
that's valuable just because then we'll know,
Exactly.
we'll have a better understanding. It'll help us figure out what we need to be better at publishing. I learned recently that the Select-O-Matic Coke machines, that's basically a big market research tool for Coke. That's why you see the vanilla Coke out at Christmas and the orange Coke and things like that. So same kind of deal here. If we're getting a better understanding of not what drinks people want, but what questions we're not able to answer in our website or what people are looking for. Like I said, there were certain things that did a good job of answering. There's a bunch of things that it punted on, gave me somebody to contact though, which is nice, but there's plenty of ways you can stump it. And if we use that as a learning opportunity, hopefully it does, if nothing else, gives us good information on how people are trying to interact with our website and lets us know what we need to be better at publishing or loading for people to do the research. Yes, sir.
Besides Birmingham, do we know other communities in the Oakland County area that are using it?
Not off the top of my head, no. I know it's a newer product to Michigan. I went on plenty of Wisconsin, Illinois, California cities that have been, using this. Off the top of my head, I don't know of others in Oakland County immediately besides, again, Birmingham.
Looks like you may have the answer there with the polymorphic.
You'd have to step to the podium.
Up at the podium, that'd be great.
The shirt is either a massive coincidence or you might know something about the product.
Yeah, I was trying to do the best I could.
No, I get it.
Phoning a friend.
I mean, I was waiting for you to call him up, and Andy outed him, so we're good.
It's like, we're waiting for the tag in. We are, so just a little background. We have kind of initial representatives in New Jersey, so there's a huge footprint there. We have folks in Florida, so there's a huge footprint there. And then in the West Coast, Utah, California. I was recently brought in, I reside in Clarkston, and so I'm right down the road from you all. My son plays soccer, he practices over here at Country Day. And I connected with Village Manager Rothy at a number of conferences, and we do have a lot of great conversations going with folks in Oakland County, around this area, because I was just recently brought in at the beginning of this year. So the conversations prior to me being on board, I take great pride in representing my community and being a part of Oakland County. And so, of course, I started naturally in my own neighborhood. And so some of these conversations are expanding kind of from my point of proximity, right, and then kind of growing from there. So we work with over 100 municipalities, counties, and local governments in the United States. Local here to Michigan, there's a select few that we've actually been working with very closely, and then, as you mentioned, Birmingham just coming on board. It was Friday they went live with, which was a big deal for us, and then we're just on the cusp of some other communities too. And to maybe backtrack just a little bit to the housing information, we don't house anybody's information. It would, quite frankly, just kind of be expensive to have all these communities and us to keep track of it. The data's yours. We're not keeping anything, and it's hosted on AWS on the back end. We are SOC 2 certified, in the WCAG compliance. We work with the AI Coalition out of San Francisco from all of our security. We have a whole trust center I can send over to you guys as well. And, I'd be happy to extend that trial period from that 30 to 60 too, if that also would help. Just a few of the things I was trying to keep track of, but if there's anything else I can address as well.
Mr. O'Gorman.
Is it possible to get some of those more existing community references so we can do a benchmark? You said New Jersey, Florida,
Yeah,
California,
absolutely.
Utah. If you
Yeah.
could toss a couple that have been matured and about the size of our village as opposed to large municipal cities, major markets, but like, what are we, 10,000, something like that?
Yep.
So if you could find representation of that, that would be great. Because our footprint, like our web footprint probably is significantly much smaller than a major metropolitan area, right? So AI makes a lot of sense for that. I'm just curious how AI intermixes with a more limited resource. So, and is it true AI, or is it kind of like machine learning and just referential search?
Yeah, so it's a RAG model. So it's
Okay.
generative, to simplify it. All of your information, the information that's on your website, we're going to put it in a bucket. And someone has a question, they just kind of reach into that bucket. It is a walled garden. It's not pulling information from the World Wide Web, and misinformation, because we're in the public sector. We take that very seriously. So there is a bit of a testing period. And we know the consequences of giving, hey, I can cut this tree down, right? And then they go ahead and do it. And so to your search engine around Birmingham, we are very humble. So when we have a question that we don't know the answer, to avoid those hallucinations, it's more of a, that's a great question. Let me forward you over to the building and zoning.
Here's where you go.
This is the address, this is the phone number, right? We limit those, we don't have those hallucinations being in the public sector to where it's, if you do ask ChatGPT, like, you'll never hear Chat say, oh gosh, you stumped me, right? They're going to give you something.
I'll give you an answer.
Right.
Ask them, is the answer true? And it'll say, I don't know, that doesn't sound right, but.
Yeah,
Good word, hallucination.
yeah, it's a technical kind of in the
Industry.
field, yep.
And then do you have the feature for customer feedback?
We can certainly look into that. I don't know that anybody's using that today. We do have we work with confidence scores, so giving you, you can come into the dashboard and look at the responses they're given, and we can identify
What our confidence is that the information.
the information
I'm just more
provided in
curious
those
the reception of
responses.
the community. So if the community is using this, are they satisfied with it? Is it something we would continue to use? And then we might even see categoricals where, hey, it's really great for ordinances, really poor for something else.
Sure.
And then you could probably screen down to the appropriate target until we fix the other piece maybe or something. But I would just love to get and it can be like, hate it, love it, don't care, 3 selections or whatever, but something to get consumer feedback or resident feedback. So as we get the queries, it'll give us 2 things. How satisfied are they overall? But also where are we like good and where are we bad? So like there's some references here, like if I'm searching trees and ordinances, maybe it's great. If I'm searching, looking for information about the last council meeting, maybe it's horrible, or I'm trying to figure out how to pay my water bill, maybe it's mediocre. I would just like to know how it performs.
Sure.
For potential for renewal, right? It's kind of like it's one thing to just kind of, hey, we got it, here's all the analytics. The analytics look good, but that doesn't mean that the residents are satisfied with the resource, so. Okay. Glad you stepped to the podium, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else before I jump back?
Other questions? I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, discussion? I'm sorry.
You want her to recommend a revised motion based on the conversation we had? Process-wise, assuming your motion is coming.
I was going to ask if anyone would like to make a motion or resolution, whatever's there that Mr. Drummond has right in front of him. So I would assume that there are some additions at the end, like subject to review of the final approval of the contract and the change to a 60-day trial period. Any other changes? Anything else?
I think so. There were
those are
some
the big
other
2.
questions that were asked, and I don't know if you want to make the resolution subject to the answers to those questions, or just separately provide the information to the council.
And actually, I'm going to have you guys battle tested too before we go public as well, so. Welcome aboard, deputies.
Yeah. I guess first question, if someone would like to make a resolution to support this, great. And if so, outside of the two amendments we just discussed, or modifications or additions we just discussed regarding the final review of the contract by the village attorney and the modification to include a 60-day trial period. Anything else?
I mean, all my questions were answered, so
Okay.
I was happy with the responses.
I'd take a resolution from anyone who would like to make one. See Rock's got it up. See Mr. Drummond's got it up.
All right.
Mr. Abood.
Be it resolved, the Beverly Hills Village Council hereby approves a proposal from Polymorphic as quoted. Funds are available. This is the part I got confused where the funds are coming from. Funds are available in the professional services account in the general fund, general administration, building and park departments, public safety fund, and water and sewer fund accounts. As long as you can get them out of that funds, I guess we're okay. That would be my resolution.
You're gonna add
Oh, and then it's the 60 days instead of 30 days. And then the second part was?
Final review by the village attorney.
review and approval of the terms of service, or
Terms and conditions, yeah.
by the
Service.
village attorney.
By the village attorney, as she said.
Support.
Support from Ms. Rajewsko. Ms. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Mr. George?
Yes.
Ms. Rajewsko?
Yes.
Ms. Kescometti?
Cautiously, yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Booth?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you. And thank you, sir, for coming out on a Tuesday night to talk to us about chatbots. All right, last thing on the business agenda, number 4. So if there's anybody in the hall, we're going to say some nice things about Mr. Ryan
No,
Nassif.
no, there's a third.
Wait, what?
There's another one.
Dang it. Okay,
Sorry.
you can still come in and I'm jumping the gun. But
Yeah, it is
you're
number
good.
3.
You're good. You can come hang. This shouldn't take long. Strategy session meeting date. So let's dispatch with that one.
Again, just for context, we traditionally schedule a early year strategy session on a Saturday. I reached out to one person on council and they didn't get a response at all, so I'm like, let's just take care of the scheduling at the meeting. So I put all our January and early February dates on the calendar. If we're looking at Saturdays, I would recommend either Saturday, the 31st of January, February 7th, or February 21st for me. I did this Valentine's Day last year because that was the night before my interview here, so I would like to hold that date back this year.
No New Year's Eve, please.
No, you said January 31st.
So January 31st, February 7th, and February 21st.
And they're all Saturdays. I
Those are all
do the
Saturdays.
7th for me, but I don't know anybody else.
I'm good with the 7th if that works for everyone else. 21st is out for me for sure.
I'm in Toledo
I'm
on the
sorry?
7th.
It's the week of the 18th, 16th, whatever it is. Yeah, it's 16th through the 20th. Yeah, so the 21st would fall on the tail end of the school midwinter break.
Pretty bad.
Would be challenging.
I cannot do the 7th.
Okay, how about the 31st?
I
cannot.
am back in town. Yes, I'm in town on the 31st.
Mr. Drummond is out, the 31st.
He's probably doing what I'm doing on the 7th.
What's that?
He's probably doing on the 31st what I'm doing on the 7th,
Skiing?
unfortunately, or fortunately.
So, options are somebody misses or we look at other dates. What was the date of the 28th is when the planning?
Correct.
Correct. So 28th, so we'd like to have it after we have the 2 planning meetings. Well, yeah, so we can either look at the 28th of February, which is later than typical, but would work. Does the 28th of February look workable for the majority?
I'm sorry, Mr. George, I'm catching, the 28th is joint with planning?
28th of January is joint planning commission
Oh,
meeting.
not joint, okay.
February
Not
28th.
28th of February, okay.
Yeah, so the
That makes
question
more
would be
sense.
then, do we want, since we have people who are unavailable
That is my sister-in-law's wedding. I cannot do the
It's also
28th.
states.
Okay, so then we're going to have to deal with somebody probably being able to unattend, so, or to not attend. Someone's going to have to miss it. So, I'm agnostic on 31st, 7th. If anyone, I don't know if we want to, do we have one person each time who can, those work for all but one on each of those dates?
I'm fine either one.
I mean,
I can make the 7th, I cannot make the 31st.
And I'm the exact opposite.
Okay. I don't know if you guys want to rock, paper, scissors to see who's making it. I don't care.
Is everyone else available both?
Is everyone else available? Yeah.
well, either I'm going to have to.
They're the
figure
only ones who have
something
indicated they're not available. So anyone else have the 7th or 31st that doesn't work?
Those work.
I mean, I have things every single Saturday, so it's not really going to matter, like,
Yeah.
I'll just have to hopefully find a kid.
You said it was from
Ohio.
9 to 12? Is that the time?
Typically, we start at 9, and it's until there's a motion to adjourn.
We've been working hard to be done by lunchtime.
Yeah, it's always worked out, it seems like.
Remember
well.
unfortunate bags of McDonald's. We're trying to avoid that. So heavy breakfast, endeavor to be done by lunch.
And Mr. George, I understand there's probably a balance here of not pushing it too late in the year. If we go later, can we get everyone or no? I mean, I would prefer if we could get everyone.
Problem you run into is the budget cycle. I don't know what
Right?
Director Cudy's
Yeah, that's a good point.
timing is for budget.
And we're not ready to go earlier? Was that, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that part, Mr. Rothy. Why aren't we looking at earlier in January? Just too soon?
Yeah, and the thought was to do the joint meetings first with the Parks Board and then the Planning Commission, as both of those will likely filter into our dialogue at the study session. So that's why we started looking at later dates. Other earlier dates could be good, but again, it's just that you would have 3 extra meetings that month, and so you'll have to be aware of that when scheduling.
For me, the 31st would be better than the 7th, because we may be out of state on the 7th, so that'll be harder for me to arrange different rides, so.
All right. I'm fine either looking that or the 24th and just missing the planning meeting as input for this, since that typically, in my head, doesn't factor as heavily into the budgeting and planning for the year. There's things we ask them to work on, but I don't know that they always affect.
I think we used to actually have the planning, our strategy session before the other ones, and then we would come with our wants to the boards. So
Yeah.
we've done it both ways.
Also, if something comes up at that meeting, we haven't locked in, we could still have a discussion on it at that meeting or after at another one of our meetings for those items. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
we haven't locked into a budget even at that point, so.
I just put it in.
How does January 24th look? If we look at that date.
You don't have to go.
I would probably make that.
That's the one I'm out of
You're
town.
not good.
Oh, no, I'm
It's
good with
okay.
24th. I told her she didn't have to go.
17th?
I can make the
Tom's always
24th, I cannot make the 17th.
Can't do the 17th.
Okay.
And if you want me to just follow up with an
volunteer
email
I
doodle
could
poll.
maybe do the 17th.
to-
You can't do the 17th.
I don't,
think
I
we're
mean,
going to be able to figure it out.
I'm agnostic. 31st is fine, 7th is fine. It depends on which of you wants to. 31st?
Sure.
Anyone have a better idea than the 31st of January?
I mean, are we ruling out weeknights just because we want more time?
I mean, I could do
Oh, no, not Saturday nights.
I said weeknight.
weeknight.
Oh,
I mean,
31st would be my.
Well, we're already 4 nights in January. Sure, let's have another
Okay,
night. I mean,
fair point, fair point.
yeah. So, January 31st?
That
Sure.
works.
I remember one of you can't be here, but I can't remember which.
That was me. 31st, I'm not here.
Okay.
Wait, I thought it was one of,
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
Andy,
He's
Mr.
here.
Drummond.
I can be
okay.
here.
If we do the
Okay.
7th,
Mr. Drummond will be participating remotely.
Zoom in if you really want to be part of the
I'm going to be like on a different
conversation.
time
I'm
zone.
just teasing
Yeah. All right.
you. Really
31st.
bad.
Sense of council that January 31st is the date?
Sure.
All right. All right. Write it up.
Yeah, I feel like Mr.
Right.
Drummond gave his birthday last year, so this year you should be able to
Okay.
pass.
All right.
I'll give you guys my
Easy.
list of things.
You're in another time zone.
Yeah.
It's earlier, and you're always up early. I remember this.
Yeah.
So you can easily dial.
I know,
For
just,
sure.
If I'm in Europe.
Sounds like an opportunity.
we got my violin.
Later.
A lot later.
World's
All right.
smallest violin over here.
January 31st. Thank you for the
We did it, you
tremendous
guys.
discussion. Now on to business agenda item number 4. I am sad to report I couldn't find my reading glasses on the way out of the house, and I thought this isn't a problem. Everything's on a computer. And then the thing that happens when you've been the village attorney for a while is that you get a long proclamation. So, lot to say. So, this is Mr. Ryan's. I think I can. I don't know.
Just so you're right there looking at them, talking to them.
I'm good being right here. I can. We'll get up in a minute. This is Mr. Ryan's last meeting as the village attorney for council. However, he is planning to stay on doing the prosecutions for public safety, so we have not seen the last of him. Additionally, he has graciously offered to be available as a resource for our new village attorney, Mrs. Colden. So we will see and hear from Mr. Ryan plenty more. But I want to take the opportunity to read some of the superlatives that come along with the long career helping this village become what it is. We do have a village council hereby issues this proclamation honoring Thomas J. Ryan. Whereas Thomas J. Ryan began his distinguished legal career in 1973 after earning his law degree from the University of Detroit Mercy School of Law and joined the firm of Tom Dillon, the attorney who incorporated the village of Beverly Hills and the first village attorney. And whereas Attorney Ryan and Attorney Dillon practiced together for several years until Attorney Dillon's retirement in December of 1981, at which time Attorney Ryan assumed the role of the sole village attorney for the village of Beverly Hills. And whereas Attorney Ryan developed a highly respected municipal law practice representing at various times Bloomfield Township, the city of Clarkston, the city of Keego Harbor, and the city of Orchard Lake, in addition to the long-standing service of the village of Beverly Hills. And whereas Attorney Ryan's professional achievements include serving as president of the State Bar of Michigan during the 2000-2001 term, as well as serving as a board member and chairman of the Oakland County Bar Association. And whereas Attorney Ryan has faithfully served as village attorney for the village of Beverly Hills for 43 years and has provided continuity, institutional knowledge, and trusted legal counsel through generations of elected and appointed officials. And whereas during his tenure, Attorney Ryan authored more than 200 ordinances, attended hundreds of village council meetings, and assisted in the drafting and interpretation of thousands of resolutions, policies, and legal actions essential to the effective governance of the village. And whereas Attorney Ryan's calm demeanor, thoughtful analysis, and steadfast presence at village council meetings have been hallmarks of his service and have consistently contributed to respectful deliberation and sound decision-making. And whereas Attorney Ryan and his wife, Colleen, also a respected attorney, have established a lasting professional legacy within Oakland County, the Oakland County legal community, while raising 5 children and exemplifying a life of service, integrity, and commitment. And whereas Attorney Ryan is retiring after a remarkable career and an extraordinary tenure as village attorney for the village of Beverly Hills, leaving behind a legacy of professionalism, dedication, and public service. Now therefore be it resolved that the village council of the Village of Beverly Hills hereby expresses its deepest gratitude and sincere appreciation to Thomas J. Ryan for his 43 years of exemplary service to the village, and be it further resolved that the Village Council commends Attorney Ryan for his unwavering commitment to the residents of Beverly Hills, his contributions to the stability and success of village governance, and his lasting impact on municipal law within the state of Michigan, and extends its best wishes to Attorney Ryan and his family for a fulfilling and well-deserved retirement marked by continued success, good health, and happiness. It is adopted by the Village Council of the Village of Beverly Hills, the 16th day of December 2025. So I personally would like to say thank you for the good counsel, for the thoughtful demeanor, and the way you approach all of the roller coaster of items that come along with this line of work. So thank you for that. If there's anyone who would, on council and in chamber, who would like to say anything, please, now's your chance. But if not, I'll come up and hand this off. We've got a plaque, and after we're done, we've got a little.
Can we say stuff?
Yeah, go right ahead.
You give it to him or now? You want to
go right ahead, Rob.
All right. So I just have, if you allow me 3 minutes.
Go right ahead.
All right. I want to take a few minutes tonight to recognize someone who has meant a great deal to the village, Tom J. Ryan. Tom, for many years, you've been a constant here. Councils change, presidents change, and agendas get longer. But you were always here, calm, prepared, and often the one reminding us it's a little more complicated than that. And if there was ever a moment when someone asked, can we do that? We all look at Tom. I think you kind of mentioned it in a letter. But anyway, we relied on you not just to tell us what the law says, but to help us understand how to move forward the right way. You guided us through ordinances, contracts, and some tough conversations, and when things got heated, you were often the voice who brought us all back to the process, fairness, and perspective. You brought with us a lifetime of experience, from leading the State Bar of Michigan to serving the Judicial 10-Year Commission, but you never led with titles. You led with judgment, patience, and respect for this community. Most importantly, you understood that this role is about public service, about helping elected officials do their jobs responsibly and always in the best interest of the residents. Most importantly, you understood that this role is about, Tom, on behalf of the Village of Beverly Hills, thank you for your years of dedication, your steady guidance, and your quiet reminders to read the fine print. On a personal note, I wanted to say how much I appreciated your patience and counsel, especially when I had questions or when the answers wasn't the one I was hoping to hear. Your guidance made me a better public servant. As impressive as Tom's career has been, those who know him also know how important family has always been to him. Retirement now offers the opportunity to enjoy that time more fully, and it is truly well-deserved. We wish you the best in your next chapter. Congratulations, Tom, and thank you.
Thank you. All right. Step up here. So,
Microphone.
the share mic. So, proclamation.
Actually, John,
Sir.
thank you very much. Nicely read.
Well, plaque suitable for your wall.
Sure, that's great.
I don't know if you've got, I would love to, hear a couple of your thoughts about some of your favorite memories from time in the village. And I don't know if you can tell the story.
Corporation story.
Yeah, that I think is a piece of history that I don't know that a lot of people have heard.
The statute of limitations is around. So.
Okay, about why we have a couple of properties within the township that are not in either of the three municipalities. That's one of my favorite pieces of historical knowledge. Sure. I appreciate the fact that we can trace the incorporation of the village all the way back to Mr. Ryan's predecessor. We don't have to go far.
Right.
So we've had a tremendous string of continuity and understanding of how we came to be what we are, and I appreciate that.
Sure, thanks, John. Yeah. Appreciate it. So thank you very much, everybody. This is very nice. It's nice to see my two
favorite people back there. That's great, thank you. So it's been my pleasure. I came here with Tom Dillon, who was the incorporator of the village back in the day when Southfield, the Southfield Township was going to incorporate the city of Southfield. The three upper tier villages, the village of Westwood, which was the village of Beverly Hills first, and then Bingham Farms and Franklin they didn't want to go in and be subsumed by the city. So they wanted to be separate entities still. So at least as part of the village, back in the day when you went to the State Boundary Commission, the law provided that the area trying to be incorporated, that is the Southfield Township, needed to serve the clerk of the village, if there was a village, needed to serve the village clerk before they could, essentially file their petition, which would be effective. It would affect the village in question. So I don't know what the other two villages did. I know that the advice of the village attorney at the time was so that they wouldn't be able to find the clerk, the village clerk. That person was ensconced somewhere in a hotel in Lansing under a different name. And eventually when the paperwork, when the charter, the boundaries for the Boundary Commission were set for the village of Beverly Hills, that was filed with the Boundary Commission to beat the city filing their incorporation petition with the Boundary Commission. Therefore, the village could exist separately from the city, the new city. Southfield Township did still exist because village residents, as you know, are also township residents. So the upper tier that's what's left of Southfield Township, as well as what the president was saying, John was saying, that in their haste, to make the boundaries, the legal boundaries, they missed a couple of houses on the east, and they missed about 4 houses on the west, which are the unincorporated and unincorporated area of Southfield Township. So the villagers at the time did not want to become city residents. They wanted to have their own independence and their own unity, entity. So that's how that happened. But again, I think the statute's long run, and so that's okay. But it's kind of a little bit of a history about how we ended up separate, and I'm assuming similar things happened with Bingham and with Franklin. But that's why there's a little bit odd shape of the township that's left. So it's been a great run. I was single, and I had 2,400 plus glasses, and I brown hair when I started here. I started with Tom Dillon on July 1st of 1978. I left the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office, and I wanted to do municipal work. I was interested in land use and zoning, and an opportunity came up. The fellow that was with Tom Dillon had a heart attack, so he was looking for somebody to handle prosecution work. I had just been in the prosecutor's office, and I also was interested in municipal work too. So I was hired by Tom to join him in July of '78, and he said, well, it's nice to have somebody here, younger, and he took a 2-week vacation in August of '78 and said, by the way, the Beverly Hills meetings are on the first and third Tuesday of the month, so while I'm on vacation, I'd like you to cover those meetings. I said, okay. So I figured I was going to do it for the month of August of 1978. Well, he came back from vacation, and from August till now, I've been here on every first and third Tuesday of the month. And speaking of AI and whatnot, I don't know when my car is now going to tell me on my first and third Tuesday that I'm not going to anyway. So there have been many, everybody that I've worked with here has always put the village first. It's a wonderful, wonderful community. We're very blessed by the people that are active here. We went through the sidewalk issue back in the 80s and 90s when nobody wanted sidewalks, and it was now people want sidewalks, which is great. And they've worked on the infrastructure, and it's just everybody I've served with who was president meant their best. We had some long meetings. We've had some short meetings, and I've had to get in the back here. I've had to get in the middle of two council people one time, which I will not name their names, that were going to go at it, and I had to step in the middle of them to make sure that didn't happen. I didn't know that came with the job description, but anyway, nobody was hurt. Everybody, though, worked, all you folks have worked, for all the years, have worked very hard. I started when Tom Kowchuk was president.
He's the top row.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
He's actually the last, the first one in color, right?
He's the seventh president. No, that's Al Hoover is the first president who's in color. But so I've been here since Tom Kowchuk. And as I said, everybody here has worked very, very hard on both sides of the desk. The residents are terrific. I'm glad to see one of our past presidents, who is second or third female president of the village. And it's great to see you. And Jeff Campbell's here. I know he's a resident, but former village manager. So it's just been a wonderful ride and a great pleasure. And I'll always be a Beverly Hills guy. And I appreciate the honor you've given me and the accolades. I got a nice card from the staff. And it's a terrific staff. And we're really going in the right direction. And so thank you very much for the honor and for the opportunity to serve this wonderful community. And I hope I've added something to the village for all these years. Okay, so thank you very much.
I did the quick math on 47 years at a minimum of 24 meetings a year. That's only 1,128 meetings. So
But who's counting? Yeah.
I assume your car just drives here. So I'll have to be careful. That's a tremendous number of meetings. I mean, honestly, that's impressive.
It's got to be a record in Oakland County.
I don't know. That's a big number. So thank you. All right, public comments, online or in chamber? Hearing none, we'll move on to the manager's report. Mr. Rothy?
Before I get into my report, I had to look up the year 1982 to see, what was going down. A few highlights. The movie E.T. came out. There's an album by a guy named Michael Jackson called Thriller. Oh. We'll get here one day, people. So, to repeat, 1982, I had to look it up. It was at the tail end of my history books growing up. We had the movie E.T. came out. The album Thriller came out. Gas was $1.25. Not during 1982, but while Mr. Ryan was here, my mom had the privilege of graduating from Groves High School. Gas was $1.25. But this isn't a roast, I promise, Tom. I very much enjoyed working with you for this year so far. Thank you for your steadfast hand and stability and your knowledge. One trivia thing is, after becoming the attorney in December of 1981, do you remember what the first ordinance that the council passed when you were the village attorney?
I don't.
It was over 200 ago, because I think you've done 204, because it was ordinance 191, and now we're on 394. But it was the Precious Metal and Gem Dealer Registration Ordinance. I don't know what it's for. We still have it. But again, just little trivia there for
A lot of that was going on back then.
So for the actual business part of my report, again, just very few highlights. We're going to be recruiting members to serve on our relaunched Downtown Development Authority Board. Those efforts are underway. We had our kickoff meeting with TextMyGov for the text message software. We were able to extract all the numbers in our utility billing software and give them to them, so that's on track. Village Hall is going to be closed Wednesday the 24th through Friday the 26th, as well as Wednesday the 31st through Friday, January 2nd. I am a happy loser to report that the Public Safety Department obliterated Village Hall in the Toys for Tots competition. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close, but the kids won, and that's all that matters. And again, as Chief Arnold alluded to, we do on paper, again, they're not all here yet, on paper, we are fully staffed at Public Safety. So that's a remarkable run. And then just for kind of, I haven't been here quite a year yet, but just kind of the final update is just remarkable what we've been able to do here with onboarding 6 or 8-ish, if you count Director Arnold, people in public safety, and then bringing on, I didn't want to say 6, 7, but that's kind of what it's been.
Here's 12. We're all good.
And then we also brought on a DPW in-house recently, too, so that's another 8 people. So 8 and 7, that's 15 new faces. I'm new. Clerk Brown is new to her role. Finance Director Cutie, again, Director Arnold. It's just been a remarkable last few months, and we're only just getting started. So kind of a happier way to end my report. Again, more than happy to answer questions you may have at the time.
Mr. Abud.
Thank you, Mr. George. For the DDA, can council members be on that committee?
It is, you have to reside or have a business interest in the district itself. And then the way the DDA law works, the village's chief executive officer, which I think the ordinance we adopted, which Tom worked on, says the president is the chief executive officer for that purpose. So the president serves by right, and then the rest have to either reside in the village or be a business. Yeah, in the district, yeah. Yes, they obviously have to reside in the village, they have to reside in the district, and they have to have a property or business interest within that district.
Okay, so I can serve?
If you live within the district, yes.
Yes, all right, thanks.
Other questions? None? Hearing none. We'll say that's a handsome plow truck sitting outside.
Yes, you noticed.
Yeah, no, it's.
And, just for the light atmosphere for this last meeting of the year, does anybody notice anything else in this room? We have a bet going in Village Hall.
That plaque.
I saw the Tree City plaque moved.
Oh, yeah, but that's not.
I noticed as soon as I walked in.
Yeah, we painted Village Hall, the room.
Like a different color.
It's a new color, but I think I won the bet because we thought at least 2 of you were going to notice. And so, anyway.
I know,
Yeah.
and like.
But it's the same blue, just a lighter blue.
No, it was beige
No, it used to be
before.
like.
It was like tan.
Yeah, like a tan yellow. So, anyway.
Top notch.
And we redid the carpet.
Looks
And again,
great.
thanks to the DPW, they just bought a few cans of paint and took care of it.
Awesome.
It's awesome,
Looks great.
Love it. All right.
right?
Anything else? Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to council comments. Mr. Mercer?
Just a couple of things tonight. One, I want to
Microphone.
get a microphone. That's what I want to do first. Thanks, Mike. I want to thank Tom. I said some nice things about you. I met most of them a couple meetings ago. I went into AI and asked it to write a few nice things about Tom and maybe help me, and it came back, it was too long. I just couldn't keep it within 4 minutes, so I'm going to keep those. But it did point out that you're the GOAT, and that means you're the greatest of all time of attorneys for the Village of Beverly Hills. So we appreciate that. But no, in all seriousness, thank you for the time you've served. And it's good to know that Ms. Kolb only has 1,126 more meetings to break the record.
Too young for that.
The other thing is, a year and a half or so ago, I met Barb Tababin, and she might be someone who might inherit the earth from what I have, my interactions with her. And then finally, I want to wish everyone, whatever they celebrate, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and that's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. O'Gorman?
I would just like to, well, I won't echo most of what Mr. Mercer said, but I would like to extend my appreciation to Tom. Having you here has been reassuring because you have the continuity of knowledge within the village, and your experience has been helpful in some decisions that have been difficult, and we've also had contested decisions here that you've served as the sounding board for a reason. So we'll miss that. Sat next to you for many years and appreciated the candor as well, just in passing. So wish you the best of luck in your retirement from this position. I'm sure you won't be too far if we are looking for a history lesson on how the village works. But I appreciate all of your commitment to this community. It probably supersede just about anybody else who's sat at this table. So that's a pretty significant accomplishment for a community of our size. So I appreciate that, and we'll always kind of admire that commitment. So other than that, similarly, happy holidays to everybody, and looking forward to a new year. Thanks.
All right, Ms. Cascameni.
Microphone off. Mr. Rothi, thank you for pointing out some of the highlight accomplishments of the village this year. It's nice to take the minute to reflect on that, because it really has been a lot of really great progress, and so I give you all of my thanks and kudos for the work you've done here in the village, and to Director Arnold and to Clerk Brown and all of the staff. Super excited about bringing the DPW in-house. I think that was really great move, and I know there were some snow bumps here over the last month, but appreciate you and Director Johnston getting that done. So thank you, and thanks for taking the time to recognize that. Tom, I just want to just thank you. Right, I appreciate your counsel, and more than anything, your kindness and your patience and your calm demeanor with us. And I've really appreciated getting to know you and work with you over. I know I've short timer in comparison, but I appreciate the time we've spent, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
You too. Ms. Rajewsko.
Yes, I'd like to once again just welcome the new PSOs that we swore in tonight, and just say how excited I am to finally have a full public safety department. And I want to thank Mr. Ryan for all of his years. If it was 1982, that was the same year I moved here as a kid from Berkeley. So we've been in this together for a while, and I appreciate your smile every time you come in, and Tracy, he's comment about your shoes. And just always here with a smile and always willing to help and answer questions. And I hope that you enjoy a winter of not having to leave your house at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and
First and third.
Right, at least the first and third, right? And just thank you again for all of your time here.
Thank you.
And I want to reiterate happy holidays to everybody, and I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. That's all I have.
All right, Mr. Aboud.
Thank you, Mr. George. In public service and in municipal government, it's always important to get back to the residents. So I hope that we can get back to Mr. and Mrs. Tababin regarding their, just give them a response, anything to make sure that what they're requesting is answered by the council. You get lumped with, it's like when they're talking council, they're talking to all of us. So, Tom, I've always butted heads, sometimes with things that I don't agree with, because I think I know the law, but then come to find out, a little bit better. I should say a lot better, but no. All seriousness, enjoy your family, and I'll miss you at these meetings, for sure.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. That's all I have. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, all that.
Mr. Jones.
Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the January 21st meeting, the January 28th meeting, and now the January 31st session, so I apologize. I just have a decent amount of travel in January, so I'll be out of state. So my apologies to everyone for missing those commitments. Mr. Ryan, I think I started service here in the village in 2014, I think, so not quite where you started or as long ago as you started, but everything I've ever seen here through zoning, through planning, through council, you've always been that steady hand and have always had the best interest of the village at every single time in your mind and in your advice, no matter what people were asking of you and the way things were asked that may put you into a difficult position. You always answered those questions with the village's best interest in heart. And I thank you. I think everyone up here thanks you, and everyone in the village thanks you. The place wouldn't be the place it is without your dedication and your service. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Couple quick things. I've had a couple emails about water rates, people asking about water rates. I am going to respond to those with the date that we had a great discussion. I think we spent almost an hour on it, where we had an external third-party water rate study done, and I'm going to try to help people find the council packet and the recording of the meetings so that people can go back and review that. And part of the discussion was around the fact that it is incredibly difficult to look at two municipalities and compare the water rates. As I've frequently said, when people bring up Troy, if you dropped a couple manufacturing plants and the top of Troy building at the corner here, our rate structure might look different because we'd have some support from commercial businesses in a way we currently don't. So third-party water rate study, I think was in July, because I looked at when the rate study was produced, and it was at the end of June, so I will make sure to find that and make people aware of that date, but that is worth 30 minutes to an hour well spent getting the flavor for the discussion here and the third-party external advice on our rate structure. Good to see the truck outside. This is the truck we just authorized the purchase of that got here from Minnesota in record time. Very handsome unit. I don't know how that compares to the one that cost 10% that much, but this one has a belly plow, the other one doesn't, so all good. Glad we're also looking at how we do, and I am again a fan of the notion of making sure that on the website we have guidance on what the plowing, and that might be good for our email blasts, is to make people aware of what our standards are for plowing, because I don't think they've changed, and we have overlap on staff, so it shouldn't look dramatically different than it did last year, but I appreciate that we're always reviewing that. Public safety staffing, it was good to see some public safety officers sworn in. As I've said, the fact that we've been understaffed for quite a while, and we're going to be fully staffed for the first time that I can remember, I think is a tremendous accomplishment that will bring down overtime charges. We'll have some fresher bodies, fresher faces, and I think that's a good thing. So good to see the first two. Looking forward to see the next ones come through as well. So thanks everybody for the hard work on that. Year in review. The village manager mentioned some of the things. I think we got a lot done this year. It's hard. I don't remember January of this year. It seems like 100 years ago, but we had an interim manager, and when I look at that point, and when I look at what we've accomplished in that time, there's a lot. So I appreciate that. I would like to at some point figure out if we can do a state of the village where we kind of give people a listing, and we'll workshop that, but if we can go through kind of the list of things that have happened. I mean, at the end of the council packet, there is a list of where we stack up on some of the major expenditures, but as much as in the spring or going into budget season, we talk about the timeline on some of the activities when people are asking about 13 Mile, and we have an answer for when 13 Mile is going to be in the pipeline, the west side of 13 Mile to be done. Kind of helping people understand what we've done and where our priority list is, I think would be helpful. So anyhow, lots that we got done this year, so I feel good closing the book on this year and coming back in January and starting the cycle over again. Mr. Ryan, thank you. I think the fact that you told us you go back to, this is not a reflection on you. I'm surprised that since you're such a young man that you go back to the black and white picture, but the last black and white picture of the president at the top row, that lets us know that you've served with more than, it's 2/3 of the presidents in the history of the village, which I think is outstanding. So I appreciate the years of service, and again, I think one of the things that has been valuable is having the saucer that cools the milk, having a calm demeanor when council sometimes turns up the heat. So I appreciate that. That has been valuable and appreciated. So I'm sure we will see you again. Hopefully it will be, without a tie on when you're in a more relaxed mode. But thank you, and everybody in chamber, and if you're online, drive in. We've got some dessert. We're going to stand around and talk a bit. So if there's nothing else, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?